You know that feeling? The one that just like makes your face light up, that real smile, the one that reaches your eyes.
Oh, yeah, the Duchenne smile.
Yeah.
Genuine joy.
Right. We usually think of that, on vacation, sunshine maybe. What if you could tap into that kind of energy, that spark, not just when you're away, but when you're actually at work?
Well, that's really the big question our sources were digging into for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Can we move past just, putting up with your job?
Or even just thinking it's okay.
Exactly. To actually finding something that genuinely energizes you, something that feels like it's giving back, not just draining you day after day.
Yeah, because let's be honest, work can often feel like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Right? You're just going through the motions, maybe checking off boxes, and by the end of the day, you just feel wiped out.
Depleted.
So our mission here really is to explore how you might flip that script. We've looked at a whole range of ideas, everything from understanding what drives you deep down to really practical ways you can maybe reshape your day-to-day.
And it's key to understand, I think, that finding joy at work isn't always about finding that one perfect dream job right out of the gate.
Right. It's not always realistic.
No. Often it's more about actively, building that fulfillment right where you are with the job you have now.
Okay, let's unpack that. First things first. Why focus so much on joy or fulfillment at work? I mean, we spend a huge chunk of our lives doing it, so it seems kind of obvious it should matter.
It does seem obvious, but the sources really hammer home why it's more than just a nice to have.
Okay.
They basically argue that work isn't just about the paycheck. It's a massive part of who we are, our identity, and our daily reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if that huge slice of your life is mostly boredom or stress or just autopilot, it really impacts everything else. Your overall happiness, your relationships, even, your physical health.
It's like an energy thing, isn't it? Some tasks, some people you work with, they give you a boost.
Yeah.
Maybe they're challenging, but in a good way. You use your skills, maybe time just flies by.
That's the feeling, like flow, maybe, purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Flow, purpose, that feeling alive kind of thing.
Right. And the sources contrast that sharply with the energy-draining stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The tasks that, they don't interest you, they feel repetitive maybe, they don't use your strengths, or it feels like you're constantly swimming upstream.
Those are the clock-watching tasks.
Absolutely. The ones that leave you feeling completely wrung out by 5 o'clock. And the core insight here is that getting more of that energy-boosting side, it isn't just luck. It's linked to some pretty deep psychological drivers.
Okay, so that leads us nicely into something a lot of these sources pointed to as like the inner engine behind it all.
Yeah.
Intrinsic motivation.
Exactly. Intrinsic motivation. So this isn't about doing stuff just for the external reward, right?
Like a bonus or a promotion or just not getting yelled at.
Right, not the sticks and carrots. Intrinsic motivation is when you do something because the activity itself is rewarding. It's interesting or enjoyable or satisfying deep down just for its own sake.
Like a kid playing with Legos. They're not getting paid. They just love building stuff.
Perfect example. They're just into the process, the creation.
So how do we find that inner engine at work? Especially when, let's face it, adult jobs can feel a lot less like Legos and maybe more like doing your taxes sometimes.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, the research our sources looked at, it pretty consistently points to 3 sort of key psychological needs. These are like the pillars that hold up that intrinsic motivation.
Okay, pillars, what are they?
So first is purpose.
Yeah.
This is about feeling like what you do actually contributes to something meaningful, something, bigger than just ticking off your tasks.
It's understanding the why.
Yes, the why behind it all, and feeling connected to some kind of larger impact or vision.
So it's not just, say, assembling widgets. It's knowing these widgets maybe help people connect or solve a real problem or create something useful.
Exactly that. Seeing your little piece fits into a bigger picture that actually matters. Okay, the second pillar is mastery.
Mastery, getting good at stuff.
Yeah, it's that fundamental human drive we all have to, improve our skills, learn new things, reach our potential. The satisfaction comes from the process of getting better, tackling challenges, growing.
That feeling of leveling up, feeling competent, capable.
Yes, that's why people will practice an instrument for hours, right? Or keep banging their head against a tough puzzle. Feels good to get better.
Okay, purpose, mastery. What's the third?
The third pillar is autonomy. This is about having a sense of control over your work.
Like how you do it, when you do it.
Yeah, having some say in how and when you work, maybe having a voice in decisions that affect your job. When you feel you have autonomy, you feel more ownership, more responsibility, agency.
Purpose, mastery, autonomy. Okay, so those are the sort of foundational ingredients for that internal spark, that intrinsic motivation.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the sources suggest that while ideally your workplace fosters these things.
Through good leadership, clear communication, opportunities to grow, that kind of thing.
Right, but even if the environment isn't perfect, you're not totally powerless as an individual.
Right. Not at all. And this is where this really, really powerful idea comes in, something that a lot of our sources really focused on. It's called job crafting.
Job crafting. Okay, it sounds kind of hands-on, like you're molding your job.
That's actually a pretty good way to think about it. It's basically the proactive steps you take to change your job design.
So you're not just waiting for your manager to change your role.
Exactly. You're actively reshaping the tasks you do, the relationships you have at work, even the way you think about your job, all to make it fit better with your own motivations, your strengths, your passions.
So you're taking the job description, the sort of raw material, and customizing it.
You got it. It's treating your job less like a fixed box and more like, well, like something you can tinker with.
Okay, interesting. How do people actually do that?
Well, the research sort of breaks it down into three main ways people craft their jobs. The first is task crafting.
Task crafting. Okay.
This is about changing the actual tasks you do. Maybe the type of tasks, how many, or just how you approach them. You might try to spend a bit more time on the parts you actually enjoy or are good at.
Or maybe even pick up small, new tasks, things that weren't officially assigned but kind of align with your interests.
Precisely. Maybe an example helps.
Yeah, please.
Okay, think of an accountant. Maybe they find the basic number crunching a little, I don't know, repetitive.
Dull. Yeah.
But maybe they're actually really good at explaining complex financial stuff simply, and they kind of enjoy that. So they might proactively offer to help colleagues understand a new process, or maybe create a simple how-to guide for the team.
Ah, so they're adding a task that uses a different skill and gives them more energy.
Exactly. They've crafted their task list a bit. Or another one, maybe a factory worker who decides to organize the tool area really well, even though it's not strictly their job. They do it because they value order, efficiency, and it gives them a little satisfaction.
Right, taking initiative on something small that makes the day better for them. Makes sense.
So that's task crafting.
Yeah.
The second type is relationship crafting.
Okay, dealing with people.
Yeah, this is about changing who you interact with at work or how you interact with them. Maybe you make an effort to connect more with colleagues you click with or seek out a mentor.
Or maybe change how you deal with clients.
Could be, like maybe a customer service rep. Perhaps the metrics push for speed, quick calls. But maybe this person gets real satisfaction from genuine empathy. So they might consciously choose to spend a little extra time really listening to someone who's clearly upset, because helping someone through a tough moment feels more meaningful, even if it takes longer.
That's a great example. They're crafting the quality of the interaction to align with their values.
Exactly. Or think about that IT tech example.
Right.
Instead of just fixing the machine and rushing off.
They could take an extra minute.
Yeah. Maybe teach the person one quick troubleshooting tip. It builds a connection. Maybe lets the tech use a teaching skill they enjoy. It shifts the interaction from just transactional to something more, well, human.
Okay, so task crafting, relationship crafting. What's the third way?
The third one is cognitive crafting.
Right.
And this one's maybe the most profound because it's all internal.
Inside your head.
Right. It's about changing how you think about your job, reframing its purpose or its meaning, shifting your perspective on the impact you have.
So it's the story you tell yourself about why your job matters.
Precisely. And the sources had some really powerful examples here. The classic one is the hospital cleaner.
Okay.
From a pure task view, they scrub floors, clean rooms. But through cognitive crafting, they might see their work completely differently.
How so?
They might see themselves as preventing infection, creating a healing space, directly helping sick people get better.
Wow, yeah. That completely changes the meaning. You're not just a cleaner, you're like part of the healing team.
Exactly. It connects the mundane task to a much larger purpose. Another really good one was an insurance claims processor.
Okay, processing paperwork after something bad happened.
Right. Could seem pretty grim or bureaucratic, but they could cognitively craft that role, reframe it as helping people get back on their feet after a car crash or a house fire, providing support, stability during a really rough time.
Ah, connecting the admin work to the human impact again. I see.
Yes. Or Remember that university lecturer who was also a musician?
Yeah.
They might reframe giving a lecture, not just delivering info, but seeing it as a kind of performance, connecting it to the energy, the interaction they love when they're playing music on stage.
That's clever. Using an analogy from something else they love?
It shows you can find meaning even in really structured jobs. It's about consciously choosing how you frame the significance of what you do.
And that's so key. It's not just for people in, obviously, creative or helping professions.
Absolutely not.
Anyone can do this. A bus driver could see their job not just as driving a set route, but as, I don't know, connecting communities, getting people safely where they need to go, maybe being a friendly face for regulars.
Totally. And the sources really emphasize that job crafting is usually an ongoing thing. Small tweaks, little adjustments, not necessarily one huge change.
Doesn't always need formal permission either.
Often not.
Yeah.
It's about spotting those little opportunities, those micro chances to align your work a bit better with what gives you energy. It's about being an active player and shaping your own work life.
Okay, so we've got the theory, intrinsic motivation, the pillars of purpose, mastery, autonomy. And we've got the strategy, job crafting, through tasks, relationships, cognition. But for someone listening right now, maybe feeling that drain we talked about, how do they actually start? How do you figure out your personal joy recipe and actually put job crafting into action?
Yeah, that's the practical bit. And the sources offer some pretty simple, actionable steps. It really starts with a bit of self-reflection, almost like a structured brainstorm. They suggest something like a joy brainstorming exercise. Grab a notebook, maybe even some nice pens. Set a timer, say 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
And the goal is just to quickly jot down anything that brings you joy outside of work. Don't filter it yet, no judgment. Just get it all down. What activities, who are you with, what places, what are you doing or thinking when you feel that real spark?
So if travel makes me happy, write it down. If cooking for friends does, write it down. Learning Spanish, write it down. Anything.
Anything at all. Get that raw list. Then, step 2 is the filtering part.
Okay.
Look at your list and ask, which of these things could potentially, maybe in some way, big or small, be brought into my work or my current role? This takes a bit of creative thinking.
Right, because my trip to Hawaii probably isn't happening at my desk.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But maybe putting up a photo from a great trip could spark a little joy. Or even just using your break time to plan a future trip could bring some positive energy.
Okay, I see. Or maybe that cooking for friends translates into organizing a potluck lunch at work. And learning Spanish might mean looking for chances to use it, maybe if the company has international clients. Or even just practicing with a colleague who's also learning.
Precisely. You're hunting for those overlaps, the connections, the ways to integrate little bits of what lights you up. And don't dismiss the small stuff.
Like what?
Well, maybe your joy list just says listening to my favorite music. Can you pop in headphones sometimes while you work? If being in nature's on there, can you actually take your lunch break outside? Even just for 15 minutes?
Right. Small, doable things. Okay, so brainstorm joy, filter for work potential. Step 3.
Step 3 is take action. Look at your filtered list and find the low-hanging fruit.
The easy wins.
Yeah. What's one thing, even a tiny thing you could actually try to implement, like this week? Maybe it's just bringing in that favorite snack or putting up that picture or sending out that email to gauge interest in a potluck. Or just committing to actually taking that outdoor break every day.
Start small, make it real.
Exactly. Get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Make joy something you're actively, consciously bringing into your workday. It builds momentum.
I like that. Starting small feels much less daunting than trying to overhaul everything at once. It's about conscious, steady crafting.
And underpinning all of this, really your ability to even notice what brings you energy. Your willingness to try crafting your role, even taking these practical steps, is your mindset.
Oh, yes.
The sources spent a fair bit of time talking about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset.
Right. This is Carol Dweck's work, largely. The idea that some people think abilities are just fixed, set in stone, while others believe they can be developed.
That's the core idea. A fixed mindset says you're either good at something or you're not. Intelligence, talent, it's just inherent.
And a growth mindset.
A growth mindset believes these things can be cultivated through effort, through learning, through dedication, perseverance. It's not saying talent is irrelevant, but that potential gets unlocked through action and learning.
Okay, so how does that connect so directly to finding joy at work? It seems a bit abstract.
It's actually fundamental. Think about it. Someone with a growth mindset doesn't necessarily shy away from challenges. They tend to see them as opportunities to learn, to stretch themselves.
Which ties right back to that mastery pillar we talked about.
Exactly. And to the idea of those energy-boosting tasks that are challenging but not crushing, also, they tend to be more resilient when things go wrong.
They don't see failure as the end of the world.
Right. It's not seen as proof that they're just not good enough. It's more like data, feedback, information to learn from, to adjust their approach next time so they don't get knocked down quite so easily.
Less likely to feel defeated or drained by obstacles.
Yeah. And this tends to foster more creativity too, because they're more willing to try different things. Their focus shifts from just trying to prove they're smart or capable to actually engaging in the process of learning and improving.
Which makes it easier to find satisfaction along the way, not just hoping for some end result.
Definitely. And it affects relationships too. If you have a growth mindset, you might be more likely to see colleagues as potential collaborators, people you can learn from, rather than just competitors. That helps build trust, creates a more positive environment, which links back to relationship crafting.
It really sounds like cultivating that growth mindset creates the perfect soil for both intrinsic motivation and job crafting to actually take root and flourish.
That's a great way to put it.
You're just more open, more resilient, more proactive.
Absolutely. Finding joy becomes so much easier when you approach your job, its challenges, and even your own abilities through that lens of growth, of possibility. And crucially, just one more point on this.
Okay.
To even have the mental energy and space for all this reflection and crafting and growth mindset stuff, the sources also briefly touched on the absolute need to protect your well-being.
Makes total sense. You can't craft joy if you're running on empty, right? Can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. They mentioned recognizing the signs of burnout and proactively doing things to prevent it, like setting real boundaries between work and the rest of your life, actually switching off, prioritizing self-care things that genuinely refuel you mentally and physically, sleep, exercise, good food, hobbies, whatever it is for you.
Taking those lunch breaks we mentioned, maybe even just getting up and walking around for 5 minutes every hour or so.
Yes. Taking regular short breaks, and this is a big one, actually taking your vacation time, properly disconnecting for longer periods.
And having people to talk to.
Yeah, maintaining that support network. People you trust, who you can share the ups and downs with. These aren't luxuries, the sources imply. They're foundational. They build the resilience and energy you need to even start thinking about finding more joy and fulfillment at work. Without that base, everything else is just much, much harder.
So it really is a whole picture then. Understanding your internal drivers, proactively shaping your job, cultivating the right mindset, and making sure you have the basic energy to do it all.
It's a dynamic thing, yeah. An interplay between knowing yourself and actively engaging with your work world.
Okay. Looking back at everything we've dug into in this deep dive, the big message seems pretty clear. Finding joy in your work. It's not like winning the lottery, just stumbling into the perfect job by chance.
No, it's definitely more active than that, more intentional. It's about becoming like a conscious architect of your own experience at work.
How?
By understanding what truly motivates you intrinsically, that purpose, mastery, autonomy stuff, by actively trying out job crafting, tweaking tasks, relationships, your perspective, and by nurturing that growth mindset, seeing challenges as chances to learn.
It's about lining up what you do every day and how you think about what you do with what genuinely gives you energy and meaning, that real spark.
Right. It transforms work from something that could drain you into something that could actually potentially add energy to your life.
And when you think about just how much of our lives we spend working.
Yeah, it's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Making that piece more joyful, more fulfilling, it seems like one of the most powerful things you could possibly do for your overall happiness and well-being.
A massive investment in your whole life, really.
So for you listening right now, thinking about all this, what's just one small thing, one tiny piece of crafting you could try? Maybe one idea from that joy brainstorm, that low-hanging fruit. What's one little tweak you could maybe experiment with this week just to see if it brings a little more of that energy boost you're looking for?
Just start small, see what happens.